Hey guys, it's been a while. This is Brian Christian, and we are back for another episode of the Fiesta Diaries. If you're a graphic artist, a writer, a producer, a songwriter, content creator, whatever it is that you do in the realm of creative development, there is nothing more annoying than the creative block. What is it exactly? What do we do when it happens? How do we identify it? How do we conquer it? I'm sure those are the same questions that you have in your mind if you're into creating. So if you're just starting out as an artist, or maybe you're a seasoned professional and you're just looking for ways to, shake off that creative block and try to find some inspiration in whatever thing that you can find inspiration from. Well, today, this might be useful for you. Episode of the Fiesta Diaries will be helpful for you and for me so that we can navigate ourselves out of this.
So right now, let's go ahead and dive into a better understanding of the creative block so that we can really understand what the problem is, and then we can create some solutions. I think that's the best way to address the challenges that we face, especially in the creative process, right?
Today, we're going to look into that. So, who am I talking about? He's a seasoned advertising creative professional, the mastermind behind countless campaigns you've likely seen, appreciated, and maybe even criticized, a talented artist, creative director, my go-to guy for creative consulting, and of course, brainstorming sessions, and let's be honest, my bash buddy who I mercilessly but lovingly criticize badly executed creative work with. But of course, that's just for laughs. Please give a warm welcome to the brilliant, aka guest number 1.
Hello. Hi, Brian.
So the topic for today is creative block. Plus, to be honest, I haven't created content for like 2 weeks. Authenticity is very important especially in YouTube for the unboxing for the things I bought for Hero. I wanted to talk about the creative block because I think this is serious and I want to understand it better. So what is a creative block? It is a period of time when a person feels a lack of inspiration or motivation. It can be a challenging experience that can prevent someone from completing projects, reaching their full creative potential. So anyway, that's the definition of a creative block. And I think kind of is dangerous, especially for, let's say, for example, you're a creative director.
And we have deadlines.
You know for a fact, like the agency side na ako dati, client side na rin ako. Yung ibang clients, like 9, kung 5 o'clock ng hapon, kailangan may output ka na the next day, di ba? So, medyo, it can be really...
Yeah, happens.
It can be really, really tough, and sometimes, you just burn out. So, what are the causes of a creative block? You said earlier, psychological.
Psychological kasi, maraming factors, maraming psychological factors. Number 1, I'm sure lahat ng artist meron ito, perfectionism.
Yeah, consistent yun.
Yes. Overthinking, overanalyze.
Yeah. Pero when it comes to design, actually for me, now I'm trying to practice it. I'm trying to practice simplicity because I think designs that work are designs that are simple. Does not have so related. You have to love and take care of the creativity. Talaga dati yung mga yung mga creatives kasi they have to be inspired to create. So those are one of the things that actually when I'm crossed over to client side, I always make sure that the people, especially the ones doing overtime, gumagawa ng deck, yung mga design, what else?
Yeah, speaking of kanina, di ba, na-mention mo inspiration. Inspiration kasi yung nagiging stuff na lack of it.
Yeah, that's true. An example, when I moved here in my new unit and I built this studio where we are, I think environment has something to do with the creative process and the process of ideation
And executing.
For me, it's harder to work on something when may pumapasok sa unit mo and I have ADHD, so I get distracted easily.
There was this ad agency under sa creative director ko before, yung office na creative office. Sobrang fun. Kasi sobrang fun. Creatives get to play. Importante sa creatives we get to play.
Ganyan, alala ko,
In my office before,
may playtime, may play area dun sa office. And I like that.
Imagine our office before, meron kaming shelves ng mga board games, and then we get to assemble Lego.
Wow, that's nice. I can imagine. I can just imagine because I'm sure you've been to the office of Google, right? So in the office of Google, and
They built an environment around fun so that it can boost the productivity of its workforce.
I think that's why it has an impact on the morale of employees because you have to sometimes be exposed to ways to distract your mind so that it won't fall into the creative block. I've had a couple of trainings there before and I just love their food actually. So let's move on. We mentioned psychological perfectionism, burnout, and then you mentioned earlier fear of failure. We all have that. Lack of inspiration, and what else?
Actually, that would depend kung ano yung cause ng creative block ko. Sabihin na natin, there are times na yung nagiging cause ng creative block ko is lack of inspiration. Number one na ginagawa ko is parang I take breaks.
Yeah, that's very...
Kasi like, layo ako sa computer. I play with my dogs, or before yung mga early days ko sa advertising. I would literally go out of the office. Like my office ko before near Makati Med, I would go to Greenbelt, maglalakad ako for an hour or two. Lagi ako pakalat-kalat sa Greenbelt one before. Like, grab a coffee, sit down, mag-observe ng tao, and then from there, may mas spark.
Yeah, because I think
Sometimes we just really need to give ourselves a break so that we can take a breather.
so. The first step is to
Yes.
now we can address the problem. So you're saying lack of inspiration. So you have to find an inspiration.
And
Kasi sabi nila you have to sometimes it's either kailangan itulog mo. And that's true Minsan sounds better. I think rest is very important to be able to manage a creative block.
Yeah.
There. I guess that's the application that we can think of right now. So we gave you the causes of a creative block. And now knowing these causes, you have to take a step back when having a creative block to understand what is the cause of your creative block. And then you can address it. So, for example, the causes is psychological, then, see a psychologist.
Another thing, I talked about that, having lack of inspiration. Another cause kasi nangyayari din sa akin is yung, of course, guilty ka din dito, procrastination. Na nagbe-build up, para i-divide ko yung workload ko into smaller chunks para hindi ako overwhelmed. Overwhelmed ka.
That's true. I don't have deadlines. Actually, I set my own deadlines. But I failed miserably because I have a plan, a content plan, then I don't execute it. I have to fix that clutter. Ayun din, cluttered. I noticed na I have this tendency kasi na minsan yung table ko is just like Smoky Mountain. Sometimes I need to take everything out first. Like, I have to arrange the table first because I can't think with all of this shit literally on the table. So, burnout, basically, when you burn out, you rest. Fear of failure, I think daily affirmation is important, actually. Sometimes I tell myself, no, I'm doing good. Everything is going to be okay. It's okay to make mistakes.
Exactly. Embrace imperfection.
I have a tendency to be a perfectionist, pero sometimes I'm trying. I siguro through the years, I learned to minimize it. Na parang I let go. Let it go. You have to learn to let go because, your design is not gonna be, there will always be something to revise. Pag ang design, tinitigan mo, meron kang i-revise dyan. So, you have to learn when to stop and say, okay, this is it. Ito na yung ipapakita natin sa kliyente. Be afraid to fail. I think as leaders also, it's important that we try to create an environment where, people feel like it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes as long as it's not going to be amounting into things. So actually, guys, it's okay to make mistakes, but at the same time, correct. As long as you will correct it. Let me correct myself. So it's okay to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Do whatever it takes to avoid those things. But at the same time, when you encounter mistakes or to learn how to boundaries, sinabi ko nga, hero, tama na. Nakapag-adjust na ako having a pet now. It's time for me to have more focus. He's here, he's distracted.
Hi, hero.
He just wants to sit here like, on my lap. Kaya good luck, hindi na ako magkakaroon ng relationship. Tignan naman yan. So moving on, stress and anxiety, you have to find ways to, like gaya sabi mo, it's important to exercise. I go to the retailers, I go to shops kasi it gives me insights eh. Like, titignan ako ng mga bagong products, how it's being done. That's where I usually, minsan may nabibili din ako. And usually, pagsisisihan ko, and pag nabili ko na yun, I have to work. Sabi ko, okay, bumalik tayo, very bad. There. So, personal problems, basically deal with it. So, I think when you're having a creative block, first identify the cause, and then from the cause, you now have an awareness to change whatever needs to be changed or to do whatever needs to for you to be able to be back in your comfort zone. When you're having a creative block, wala ka na dun sa comfort zone mo eh. You're somewhere else. Temporary state. That's true. Temporary lang to. Guys, I'm so sorry. It's been months since I started the podcast.
Thank you.
Deal with this creative block. So yes, it has finally hit me. I've hit the creative block. Lately this year, I started getting into songwriting, doing graphic. Thank you for joining me in today's and for sharing your insights as a seasoned creative professional in the advertising agency world. And thank you for sharing your insight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, so that was a fun discussion with a good friend of mine who happens to be working in the advertising agency. Right now, let's go ahead and check out what exactly are the softwares to consider in order to make our workflow easier, because the easier your workflow is, then it makes it easier to handle and easier to manage that when you hit a creative block, you are well supported by the tools that you have in producing. And at the same time, I want to minimize the time it stays in the editing stage of the production. So right now, as you guys can see, if I am now powered by Riverside FM, so let me go ahead and review how Riverside FM has been helping me. So without further ado, check this out. So I'll be doing a review for this one since I've been using this for a few weeks now. So this is a platform that's been making waves in the remote recording space. And I tried this out because I was looking for a solution for one of my challenges is always get stuck in the editing phase. So meaning, it would be good if I could already edit or I could minimize the editing. That's the reason why I have upgraded most of my hardware here in the studio. I have a new mic, I have a new audio interface that's awesome and beautiful. I'll talk about that in a different episode on my building your own home studio. So I've been using it for I think around 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm ready to share my thoughts about this. First, I want to cover the key features of this one so that you can understand why I'm using it and why I like it. So in terms of ease of use and overall value proposition, I'll also give you some insight on that one. So let's get started. Okay? So one of Riverside.fm's biggest selling points is the high quality audio recording. It utilizes a local recording on each participant's computer, minimizing the latency and ensuring crystal clear sound. So what issues that I have before when I was trying and doing some test broadcasts? So issues were, I was recording the video, but then during the stream, there's the latency or delays, which cannot be avoided when you're streaming live. And that's why in terms of the quality, some of the audio quality were compromised and I lost it. So sayang, diba? So let's go ahead and look at all of the other key features here. So local recording, like I've said earlier, I've already touched on this. It's worth emphasizing how important it is to deliver superior audio quality when it comes to creating content online. I hate the most is, after taping something walang audio. That happened to me a couple of times, and that's the reason why I don't want to use OBS, because sometimes I just, dinudugo talaga yung ilong ko pagka nag-OBS ako because it's so technical. It's highly technical and I need someone to set it up for me. That means I need to look for softwares that will help me in the challenges that I have right now and in terms of editing. So there you go. So this one delivers superior audio quality because it records it in our local devices, and then it's uploaded, and then that's where I do the editing. So that's why it's definitely way better. So guest management is so easy. It's so easy to add and manage the guests. Really, it's pretty easy. So the interface is intuitive and it allows for easy scheduling and communication. So far, haven't really tried scheduling anything. I'm really learning the features ngayon pa lang actually, because I started using this actually a few days back. Video recording is for me it's good because I think most of the people that I call already have HD cameras on their phone, or well, I for one, I have an Ultra HD camera that I just purchased a few weeks back. It's also an upgrade here in the studio so that I can graduate my iPhone being used as as a cam when I'm taping podcasts. So that's so nice, and that's actually a milestone. I'm so happy about it. So the video quality is excellent, and the ability to record locally enhances the experience. So that's what makes this different. Okay. So I found the video quality very nice, and it's nice actually. For the editing tools, basic. My plan is basic. So basic editing tools, pretty much, I'm okay with it. I mean, there are some limitations when it comes to music and etc. I haven't really explored that part of the platform actually, but I've been trying to put in some videos from other projects. I haven't really figured that out really, so it's so easy to trim clips and adjust audio levels, that's for sure, and the interface is user friendly. So the editing tools were kind of limited, and I still use my separate editor to achieve my desired outcome, which is something that I have to figure out, like, is it okay, is it efficient or not efficient, considering that I'll be paying around 1,000 plus for this subscription every month. Excuse me, I'm sorry for my voice, guys. I just feeling under the weather 2 days ago, and yeah, and it really sucks. Actually, it's good that right now I can already record. Transcription. Let's talk about the transcription. The automatic transcription feature is one of the reasons why I decided to get this, because it's so easy to edit it. And it's so easy to just read through the transcription instead of watching the whole video and then editing it from there, taking out, words that were repeated. In terms of accuracy, it is accurate. It is accurate when you're speaking in English, but remember, I'm Filipino and I speak in sometimes I speak in Taglish, combining English and Tagalog. That's why sometimes accurate. But then again, you can always correct them. I mean, that's my take on it. So remember, we will all have different accents, etc. And at the end of the day, you also have to review and be responsible enough for the transcript of your content so that you can correct it. Collaboration tools for this one, like screen sharing and chat functions, I haven't really explored those features and functionalities, but maybe in the future I'll try. I'm still trying. I'm still in my learning curve for this one, so definitely I'll be having updates. So overall, I found Riverside FM to be easy to use, and that's the reason why I decided to take the subscription already. I bought the subscription already, so in fact, I'm reviewing this as personal review, so I'm not getting paid for this one. So this is really my honest to goodness experience with the platform. The interface is clean and intuitive, and it's making it easier to navigate even for beginners. There's just still some confusion on like the functionalities, but I think that's part of the learning curve. In terms of customer support, they have the best solid customer support ever, and I'm so thankful for the customer support team, Riverside.fm, for helping me in downgrading my plan and understanding the reason why I'm downgrading. Also, they kind of understood that I wasn't really able to use the trial period because I got busy, and of course I had to prioritize those paying customers. So someone's here again, bugging me. Special guest. Okay, so basically that's Riverside pretty much offers a competitive pricing compared to the other platforms using similar features. Is it worth it? So far for me, I think it's worth it because it makes editing easier, and that's the challenge content creators have. It's editing the content, and I don't want to quality because I was trained in radio, and I just don't want to have poor audio or what. Okay, so now let's go and wrap things up. So to conclude, Riverside.fm is a powerful platform for remote recording. Particularly, it's really good for podcasting and interviews. And that's why I'm now, I feel like I'm ready to start having guests in my show, and that's why I want to thank for gracing our podcast with his presence. And I hope moving forward. So that's about it. Riverside.fm is particularly good. The strength lies in the high quality audio, user-friendly interface, the robust features, ease of editing, and some drawbacks would be the transcription accuracy, which is, I can live with that. Overall experience is really positive, and I highly recommend Riverside.fm to anyone looking for a professional and easy to use remote recording solution. So that's it.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Alrighty, guys, it's time to wrap this episode up. So let me go ahead and give you a rundown on what we discussed today. So as we discussed it earlier, one major culprit is pressure. We put so much pressure on ourselves to produce amazing work, to be innovative and original all the time. But sometimes this pressure can often lead us to self-doubt, which can be a major creative killer. So burnout, it's another factor. So if you're constantly working without breaks, your creative well will definitely dry down at one point. So eventually, you just end up into a creative block. So we need to give ourselves some time to rest. And let's not forget perfectionism. That's the relentless pursuit of flawlessness that can paralyze you, preventing you from even starting a project. So finally, external factors like chaotic work environment, lack of quiet time, also significantly impact your creative flow. So you have to give yourself some breathing time. Give yourself breaks. Before I remember I used to take breaks every 30 minutes. I have to walk out and around. Lately though, I've been, overworking myself because of a lot of things that I need to finish and work on, which is why perhaps I have this creative block, and I also have a lot of distractions aside from that. That is number one point that I wanted to make. So now that we understand the roots of creative blocks, let's talk about the solutions. We already understand it. We know what causes it, and we know that what we need to do is to understand what causes it, and so we can address it and come up with solutions. So the first thing to try is mindfulness. So take a few minutes to meditate. Practice deep breathing exercises, or simply step away from your workspace and spend some time in nature. There's a park downstairs. Probably I'll start spending more time in the park, and then step away from your workspace and find the brain dump. Like a brain dump can be incredibly helpful. So just write down everything that's in your mind, regardless of how chaotic or irrelevant they may be. But just write everything down that's in your head, and that will help you identify what's in your head and what's perhaps is trying to or causing anxiety in you. At least you can address them. So this will help you clear your mental clutter. So this one, sometimes a change of scenery will do wonders, guys. I do that a lot of times when I feel like I'm just all limited, or sometimes I would do some episodes outside of the studio, walking outside or taping things outside, and it does help me a lot of times in terms of creating. So try working in a different room or a coffee shop or even outside. So if you are truly stuck, try writing or free writing or sketching. In my case, actually, you know what I do? Look for beats and I try to write songs. So without any judgment, write your thoughts into a page and then share it with someone. Breaking down large projects, by the way. So if you have a large project, sometimes it's overwhelming. I know, I understand, based on experience as well. So the best thing to do is to break down the large projects into smaller, manageable steps, so they can also make them less daunting, and you won't get overwhelmed. It looks more approachable, And then don't be afraid to collaborate with others. A fresh perspective can reignite your creativity. And finally, sometimes the best thing to do is we always have to give ourselves some time to breathe. Sometimes don't break habits, or when it's starting to become a continuous cycle, you have to do something different, to do something new. So you have to establish a clear or a regular creative routine, even if it's just for a short period each day. So also, it's important to prioritize self-care. get enough sleep, get nutritious food, manage your stress levels by working out, exercising, and set realistic goals for your deadlines, and be kind to yourself. Remember that creative blocks happen to everyone. No one is an exception. We all get there. We all do it. We all have it, and that's it for today. That's what we're going to be discussing. I hope you guys learned something today, and I hope that you guys can apply these things. So also, you know what helps? Try to find like someone who you consider as a confidant, and you can just simply talk to them. You know, sometimes I always do that. I just talk to those people, and then, you know, the next thing you know, it sparks up conversations and creativity. Also, people who are close to you will always be positive, and they will give you that positivity and that you need in order to, especially if you're going through some self-doubt, of a basis of self-doubt. So it's good to hear affirmations from other people. So that's about it. I encourage you guys to experiment with these strategies. I hope these strategies can help you guys, and you can find what best works for you and what are your go-to methods for overcoming your creative blocks. I'm sure you guys also had creative blocks. Why don't you go ahead and share your tips and comments below? Comment down below and join us as we have another conversation in the next episode. And also, if you want to talk about something, or if you have any questions, or you want to further talk about this, feel free to send your comments and suggestions down below, and we'll get right to them, and I'll also reply to them. So, and I look forward to hearing from you guys, by the way. And if you haven't replied, or if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so, guys. I am on a race to 500 subscribers so that I can start monetizing my content and I can qualify for the YouTube partnership program. It would mean a lot to me. It would be the best Christmas gift or holiday gift that you could give. Anyway, without further extending this episode, I would like to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you for your time. I hope you had a good time learning. This is Brian Christian, and this is Fiesta Diaries. I'm reminding you guys to always be kind, always do good, and always be thankful. Why don't you go ahead and smile at all the people that you will be seeing after this episode? Para good vibes and like that. Anyway, leaving you guys with this song. This is the latest short song that I wrote for just a few days back, and I would love to share it with you guys. Anyway, this is Brian Christian signing off. I'll see you guys in the next episode. We're going to be talking about something about self audit for the year end, and mapping it out, or coming up with measurable action points for the next year. So if I feel like there's value to doing self audit and doing
We're gonna party all night. We're gonna party all night. We're gonna party like it's the last party. We're gonna party like it's the last party of your life. Life is a fiesta, live like a fiesta. We're the life of the fiesta. I'ma be the one to make this happen. Now let's get everybody together. This is what I'm gonna do next. I'ma play you songs, and let's go.